Before Def Jam accepted him, the world almost never saw him. A young Shaun Carter, carrying verses like secrets, sold out of a car trunk, not a homepage. Back then, discovery was physical: tapes, word of mouth, smoke-filled rooms, and small stages. But imagine a different timeline: same hunger, same talent, one more tool in his hands. A polished AI-built website, lived before the industry even believed in him. Before a label stamped his value, the world could have found him with a single search. History tells us how things happened. Science and psychology can help us ask, what would change if time, technology, and attention were rearranged? The real story begins in a place where algorithms didn't exist and opportunity felt local. Brooklyn sidewalks, cracked and crowded, echoed with verses no one had streamed. Back then, if you weren't on radio or TV, you barely existed outside your block. Gatekeepers decided who became visible, who stayed a rumor, who vanished. Young Jay-Z built Rockefeller Records out of rejection because nobody with power believed early enough. Psychologists call this structural invisibility, when systems make some talent harder to notice, no matter how real it is. Without platforms, you had to scream just to sound like a whisper. The question haunting this timeline: what happens when technology lowers the volume of that scream? In the 90 seconds, word of mouth moved at the speed of footsteps and phone calls. To build a following, you needed time, repetition, and the luck of the right ears in the right room. Today, recommendation algorithms move at the speed of probability. They use collaborative filtering, behavioral data, and feedback loops to guess who might love what you create. The same science that suggests your next song or video could have suggested a young Jay-Z to millions overnight. A single, well-built website becomes not just a page, but a signal: clean, consistent data for algorithms to interpret. B12.io compresses the complexity of that signal into something a teenager with a laptop can control. History's gatekeepers whispered no. Math, if given the chance, might have answered with recommended for you. Branding, for a young artist then, was improvised logos on mixtapes, names on flyers, outfits on stage. Nothing was centralized. Identity was scattered in clubs, posters, and rumors. Cognitive science tells us the brain trusts what it sees consistently, over and over, in different places. That's how familiarity becomes credibility. With an AI-built site, the young Jay-Z of our thought experiment could have anchored his identity in one living hub. Every show date, every song snippet, every visual aligned, updated, and echoed across the web. B12.io is not just design, it's pattern making, teaching brains who you are without you in the room. The past relied on memory, the present relies on patterns. Rockefeller was born out of necessity, but also out of psychology. When every door closes, the brain either shrinks back or constructs its own doorway. This is reactance, a psychological pushback against control, a hunger for autonomy. Jay-Z and his partners chose independence because the system didn't see them. Now, imagine that same independent mindset, armed with modern infrastructure. A direct-to-fan digital presence, own channels, mailing lists, booking forms, all orchestrated from one AI-assisted hub. B12.io gives that structure to anyone today without a label, office, or gatekeeper. Independence no longer has to look like isolation. It can look like intelligent self-promotion. Visibility feels emotional, but underneath it lies math. Reach, impressions, click-through rates, numbers that decide who gets remembered and who disappears. In the pre-internet era, those numbers were hidden, inaccessible, or guessed. Today, analytics turn attention into something you can measure, test, and strategically improve. b12.io, and similar tools track behavior, where people pause, what they read, what they ignore. These patterns reveal not just what works, but how human curiosity moves through your story. The young Jay-Z, in this alternate history, wouldn't have to just hope his flyers were working. He could have watched the data, adjusted the message, and let curiosity guide the next move. Somewhere right now, another young artist refreshes their inbox, waiting for validation that never comes. Their work sits in digital silence, as invisible as a tape in a shoebox. The suspense is not on stage. It's in the unseen gap between publish and noticed. Psychologically, this gap breeds doubt, burnout, and the belief that maybe I was never good enough. But often, the problem isn't the art, it's the architecture around it. No clear home, no coherent story, no guided path for a stranger to become a believer. That is where a structured, AI-built website quietly changes the odds. It doesn't promise fame, but it gives your work a place where discovery becomes possible, not accidental. Now return to the central question. What if, before Def Jam said yes, the world had already whispered yes to a young Jay-Z online? Imagine fans arriving not through rumor, but through a shareable link profiles, press kits, clean visuals in one place. Bloggers, early online magazines, college radio hosts, all pulling from a single, credible source. Social proof comments, mailing list numbers, pre-orders, turning unsigned into undeniable. Labels don't sign talent, they sign momentum. In this alternate timeline, an AI-built b12.io site doesn't change who he is. It changes how undeniable he looks. The suspense shifts from, will anyone hear me, to, how fast can I scale what they already hear? Some will say, if he was destined, it would have happened anyway. But destiny is often a story we use to make peace with all the variables we can't track. Behavioral science shows us that small changes in exposure, timing, and friction can tilt entire careers. A missed email, a lost tape, a show that never happened, tiny events with enormous ripple effects. In this light, an AI-built site is not a miracle. It's a friction reducer, a way to keep fewer chances from slipping through cracks. Tools like b12.io don't guarantee a throne, they guarantee a cleaner path, from you to the people who might care. The mystery is not whether fate exists, but how much of it is just probability, plus effort, plus infrastructure. What if the only thing separating your story from a legend is not talent, not luck, but the decision to give your genius a home online that the world can't ignore? If this journey into an alternate timeline made you see your own timeline differently, don't let the insight fade. Like this video, share it with someone who's still waiting for a gatekeeper, and subscribe so we can keep exploring the thin line between destiny and tools